Hello there. My name is Dan Oronje. I'm an occupational therapist. I teach people to live freely and independently with or without modifications. Now, some people need alternative ways to do the job of living, and that's what I do on a day-to-day. But today I've decided to join the great debate. Presidential elections are coming soon, and some issues are being discussed. Lots of issues have come up, but today I just want to dwell on two: immigration and the right to bear firearms. You know, a lot has been said, and to remain silent is really not doing my civic duty, which is required in voting, but also sharing an opinion is important, especially an opinion which may help in the impasse, in the gridlock. The Republicans and the Democrats have come to a gridlock. They can't agree on issues to bring about safety or reducing gun violence. And so I've decided today, in my regular thinking, I think about how to help people to live with alternative means, but now I want to give an alternative way of solving gun violence. But before I go there, I truly need to take a moment and send my condolences to those who have their lives cut short. So I'm going to post right here, post a moment in remembrance of all those who have had their lives cut short. Yes, and coming back after posting for a moment in honor of all those whose life have been prematurely taken with gun violence. This includes people in the Sandy Hook shooting, people in Charleston, people in Orlando, people in San Bernardino, and so many other places that there has been gun violence. I want to send my heartfelt condolences and sympathies to the families, knowing very well tomorrow is Father's Day. A father tomorrow will not be able to celebrate their children, or a child tomorrow, a boy or a girl, will not be able to celebrate their father. And of course, we also know that mothers and girls have been taken, and it is just a sad situation for our country. So my sympathies go out to all of them, and indeed to the entire United States of America. So this issue of gun violence stems from very far. It stems from our Constitution, really, because our Constitution guarantees the right to bear firearms. This is in the Second Amendment, which was ratified in 1791. It was drafted by Thomas Jefferson, and it says thus: a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Two things there. A well-regulated militia is needed for the security of a free state, so that the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. It is the right for a free state. It's not necessarily the right to go on out there and just kill innocent people because you have the right to bear arms. That is thuggery. That is terrorism. You cannot just kill people with a gun because you have the right to bear arms. And I want to put it to you that the drafters of this Constitution emphasized a well-regulated militia is necessary. Well-regulated. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. So, this is a democracy. And America has fought many wars, but one of the most important wars that America fought was a war among itself. The citizen fought the Civil War. The Civil War was among the North and the South, if you want to call it. And during the end of that war, Abraham Lincoln gave a speech. It was called the Gettysburg Address. In it, he concluded this. He concluded by saying this: It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. This is the definition really of democracy. And what you see happening in Washington is a gridlock by our representatives. Our representatives, we elected them indeed, but when you are elected, you are bestowed upon discretion to compromise and to come into an agreement which will truly interpret the Constitution and ensure that certain freedoms are bestowed to the people, we the people. So the right to firearms stems from the Second Amendment, but as well, in a democracy, we must talk. I've decided to talk to contribute because silence is cheap. War is expensive. And the moment we actually stop talking is the moment significant differences arise. And it is also the moment that people can start fighting. So here I have decided to come up with a solution which is different out of Washington, something that we the people can contribute, and hope that those listening can come together and find a common cause to reduce gun violence. Give me 1 minute here and I'll give it to you. Yes, the Democrats, the Republicans have come to a gridlock about finding a solution for gun violence. Each of them maybe are on either extreme, but we need sober heads to come up together and find a solution. And this is where I'm coming. There are several ways of interpreting or amending the Constitution, because when you amend the Constitution or when you make laws, then you truly let the people live per what their aspirations are. The Constitution is a living document and it can be amended. As a matter of fact, we are talking about the Second Amendment. It can be amended. We have seen the Second Amendment says about the need for a well-regulated militia. Our legislators are not doing it, whether Democrat or Republicans. Now, we have to do it. How can we do it? Let me remind you, it takes 75% of Congress to amend the Constitution. That means the Senate has to have passed an amendment by 75% of their vote. The same thing has to happen with the House. And also, there is another way whereby the 75% of the states can vote to amend the Constitution. What are the chances of that happening? Very little. So we the people are kind of impaired. We are disabled. We elect people, but they cannot amend the constitution to help solve the problem because we know there's a problem. How can we solve it? One way of solving it, it would have been through a referendum. But no, we cannot vote on a referendum because the same legislatures will have to pass the referendum to us for us to vote. But they've come to a gridlock, so there's no referendum we're going to vote on. We're going to vote on nothing. They are not giving us anything. The other way for us to participate would be through an initiative. And an initiative means that we resolve something, we the people resolve something, and give it to our legislators to go vote on it. But if we do that, it will be the same thing. They will vote on partisanship. So the next level that we can use is direct initiative, whereby we pass something, we pass issues, we talk amongst ourselves and we pass issues, and once we vote on them, they become law. That is something we can do. But what shall we vote on? That is where I have some solutions that I would like you to listen to and let me know, or begin the discussion or join the discussion, and let us see how far we can go with it. So what are the issues? What are the issues? Guns. Are you a conservative or a liberal if you want more regulation for the gun? Typically, it is said that if you want more regulation, you are a conservative. If you want it to be free, let things go the way they are, then you're a liberal. But in this case, things have changed. The Republicans want less gun control. The Democrats want more gun control. What do the people want? We can create an initiative and vote on it. And then we will know what truly the people are speaking. We the people. The Constitution talks about we the people. Not them, not legislators. We the people must be given the right to participate in making laws. So, what would we be voting on? My suggestions are as follows. A gun is an equipment, a dangerous equipment. A car is a dangerous equipment. But let's look at how a car is regulated. First, a lad has to learn to drive. Remember, go way back when you first started to drive. You had to learn. And because the car is such a dangerous equipment, I put it to you, it was so dangerous that some of us, or some people, even their parents couldn't teach them because of the love that they have for the children. They are scared that the child may do something wrong and get injured. So they were hard on the children. So it was the grandfather or the grandmother who taught the child to drive a car, or the mother who taught the child to drive because the father was scared. So you can see how a car being a dangerous equipment, we took precaution to teach the children to drive. But regardless of where they learn to drive, whether through a driving school or in the rural roads out there, time was taken and the child learned to drive. After the child learns to drive, guess what? Eventually the child will need to own a car, and that car must be bought. So there are other measures to buy a car. Obviously, if you have cash, you'll buy it cash, but sometimes you may want to buy it on credit, and if you buy it on credit, they check about your responsibility in paying back that loan, and that's where credit checks come in, and what kind of a person you are perhaps plays a role. But that's not quite significant to what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about now is registration for the car. The car has to be registered. So After getting your license, you get your car registered. And after registration, every year, you're gonna take that car, you're gonna register that car to tell the authorities that I'm still the owner of this car. If anything happens to it, I am the one you have to contact. Or if that car is used in any way, I'm the one you're gonna reach to ask, hey, what happened to this car? But even before you get your registration, you know, before they sell you that car, they will ask you for one more thing: insurance. Every car must be insured because it's a dangerous equipment. Because that car could cause harm to another person, that car could kill you, and that car could also damage property. And before you can take it to the road, there is significant insurance. Insurance is sold based on your risk. If you're a new driver, you pay more on insurance. If you're an experienced driver, you pay less. But you pay. Either way, everybody has insurance for the car. Also, with the car, if you park that car in the wrong place, there is a ticket. If you drive beyond speed limit, there's a ticket. If you make the wrong turn, there's a ticket. If you don't put on your seatbelt, there's a ticket. Those are regulations for the car, ladies and gentlemen, which is, a car is a dangerous equipment, and you can check. A lot of people have been killed with the car, with or without regulations. But at least there is accountability and there is reparation, so to speak, through insurance. As it is, gun control, the gun is not regulated. The Constitution, the Second Amendment says it must be well-regulated militia. And that militia, by the way, was meant to check a government which may turn tyrannical. But let's just agree that even though the government is not only for the government, individuals have the right to bear arms, it has to be regulated. The Constitution says well-regulated. So, just like a car, the gun need to be regulated. You need a license, you need registration, you need insurance. Depending on the type of gun, the more dangerous gun need more insurance. And also, you need to take it in every year for it to be checked that you still own it, that you have not transferred it. Those may help to make it harder for anybody to get it. It doesn't necessarily say that it will deny anybody the right to own it, because nobody has been denied the right to buy a car. Everybody can buy a car anytime. You can even get a car through transfer, but you have to be responsible by telling the authorities who owns the car. So even in the transfer of gun ownership, we will be able to know who has the car. That, ladies and gentlemen, is my suggestion about these guns. And the Democrats and the Republicans, if they have struck gridlock in Washington, we can turn it around and pass an initiative that can change things. Because people dying every day, we should be able to reduce it.